Hey everyone, today we're going to draw and paint a rainbow with some heart-shaped clouds. For this project you're going to need a pencil, an eraser, a Sharpie. Definitely use a Sharpie or your marker will bleed when you add the watercolor. You want some watercolor paper, which is also very important, watercolor paints, a cup of water, paintbrushes, and a paper towel. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is draw a big upside down U. That'll be the outside of your rainbow. Next we're going to add 7 different color sections. So we're going to kind of follow that first line that we made and make 7 rows. You want to kind of try to keep them somewhat the same size. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this will be number 7. Okay, so then we're going to just draw some hearts underneath. And to start, we'll just draw them like a normal shaped heart, and then we'll add some bumps to make them more cloud-like. So I'm just going to add both of my hearts. And then you can see some of the lines don't quite touch, so you can just pull those back down and make them touch your heart so that you know where to fill in when we go to paint. Okay. So for my clouds, I kind of made like a hump here, and then just some different shapes around the outside to make it look more like a cloud. So you can do that on both sides, and then we'll erase all these pencil marks. The first heart shape is just kind of get so you know where you're going. Alright, when you're done sketching out your rainbow, you can grab your Sharpie and go around all the edges. I do make this outside part a little thicker and this inside part, and then all around the clouds I made a little bit thicker. You can also add a couple little bumps inside of your heart, which I didn't do with a pencil, but you can add it with the pencil first if you want. I think rainbows are easier to draw when you're moving your paper around. It's just easier to kind of keep the same shape. I'm trying not to move my paper because of the video, but if you want to move your paper around to make it a little bit easier, you can do that. It'll also be easier to paint it if you move it around. Okay, I'm almost to the center. Your lines might not be perfect, and that's okay. Alright, I finished the outline of my rainbow. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the clouds. Again, I did make these a little bit thicker just to show a little more dimension. Just going to add a couple little bumps, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I think my rainbow is all drawn. I'm going to go ahead with my eraser and erase all the pencil marks. Okay, once you're done erasing, we're going to go ahead and start painting. So we're going to do our rainbow in the order of a real rainbow. So we're going to start with red on the top. Just going to grab some red. And I didn't do a lot of shading with this picture. I just made it a little darker down here by the clouds than I did up here. So that's the only shading we're going to do. So we're just going to make it a little darker and then slowly kind of pull it out. And even after we do this whole red part, you can go back with a little bit more red and make it a little darker just at the bottom there if you want. We're going to fill in all this red. And again, don't forget you can move your paper around if it's easier to fill in. You want to try your best to stay in between the lines, but if you do go outside of it, it's not a big deal. Your colors will probably end up blending a little bit, kind of like a real rainbow. Just going to add a little bit more red down here on this side, and then I think I'm done with my red, so I'm going to wash off my brush real good and then grab the next color, which is orange. Just adding a little bit more down here. And then again, we're going to wash off our brush real well before we start our next color, which will be yellow. Okay, yellow is my favorite color of the rainbow. All right, next we're gonna do green. I picked a lighter green. You can do a darker green or whatever green you want. Adding a little bit more down on both sides, just to make it a little darker. And then brushing off our brushes and moving on to blue. Okay, now we're gonna move on to indigo, which is like a purple and a blue mixed together. If you don't have a purplish blue color, you can just mix some blue and purple together. And that will make your indigo. Okay, and our last color is a violet. So for the clouds, I just added a little bit of light blue down here by the bottom just to give a little bit of shadow, and then here behind these little humps on the clouds, I added a little bit of light blue too. You don't want to make it real dark because you still want your cloud to look white, but we just want a little bit of a shadow. So what I'm doing is just making little bits of this cloud wet just with plain water, and then I'm going to go in with some really light blue. If you don't have a light blue, you can just use a very small amount of regular blue. The more watery it is, the lighter it will be. So I'm just adding a little bit of blue down here at the bottom, and then right over these little humps in the cloud. If you feel like you got too much paint, you can dry off your brush and pick some of that paint back up like this. I just dried it on my paper towel, and I'm just going over it and picking up a little bit more of the blue. And you can take some water, you can kind of smooth it out around the edges there, just so it's not such a hard edge. It kind of blends a little bit better. And that's it for that cloud, and then we'll do our last cloud, and then we will be all finished. Again, just make it wet. Add a little bit of your blue. You can add some more water if you need to. Okay, I think I'm done with my rainbow. I really hope that you enjoyed doing this painting with me. If you did and you want to do some more in the future, feel free to subscribe. Check out the links in the description. Maybe you can find something else fun that you would like to do or see. And I look forward to painting with you again. Bye.